recommend going to uni. Like, don't just, go to uni just for the sake of it. A lot of people nowadays probably go for the parties and just because it seems like the cool thing to do. You get your uni fund and all this and you get your money or whatever, but essentially you're kind of putting yourself in debt. So I was only earning £3.64 an hour. So it's mad to think that now, and I don't think they're paying anybody that now, because if I would have been given £3.64 in my hand after working an hour, I would have been thinking, kind of taking the piss a little bit. But selling my CDs in work and that, like, this is where the entrepreneurship part comes from. You get me? Like, I was selling my CDs in work every other week. People are saying, yo, Dada, you got any new CDs? I'm selling them and that 3 for a tenner, like just shutting them off. You get me? TikTok, obviously, that's another thing. TikTok's just the mad, craziest platform. And I started that during lockdown. We didn't really have much to do in it, so I just started making DJ videos and people was enjoying them. So then got 250,000 followers on there. So it's all going well, man. Can't complain.
Hello and welcome to Insight with the Podcast Club. Can you tell me who you are, where you're from, and what you do, please?
So my name's DJ Day. That's what I'm known by. You're not going to know my government. Keeping that on the down low. From Birmingham, and I'm a full-time DJ, host, creative entrepreneur, and events manager. I just do a lot of different things. I got my hands in many different bags.
Many different bags.
That's how it goes, man.
Can you tell me about school and growing up, please?
Yeah, man. School, I was a well-behaved kid. I never really got in trouble here and there, you know what I'm saying? But I was always around good people. I wasn't really around people that was causing trouble. Yeah, I mean, I done pretty well in school. I left with C's, to be fair. I got a C in maths, C in English. I got a B in RE, which is quite strange, but I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a little bit religious. I'm not super religious, but I am a believer. So yeah. And then, I suppose I was very interested in media. That was the main thing that I was interested in from when I started school, to be honest. Year 7, year 8, that's when I started really enjoying media and, especially videography. That was my thing. So I wasn't even really interested. Not even that I wasn't interested in music, but that wasn't a passion of mine until when I got to about year 9. And there was a 6-week DJing course in my school. I had already done a little bit of DJing with my cousin when I was probably in primary school. So as far as I can remember back. And I started doing a 6-week DJing course. And at the end of it, the best people got to play at the end of your school party. I was one of the best people. So I remember doing that. I shut it down. Everyone was going mad. I had goosebumps and that, just from seeing my friends jumping around. I think that was the moment where I was like, yeah, man, I really like this. I want to start doing this more. So yeah, big up Mr. Rothwell. If you're watching this, you get me, because he was a PE teacher in my school and he was a DJ as well. And he ended up doing the 6-week DJing course. So yeah, school was real good. Left school. Then obviously I went to uni. Went to uni? No, I didn't go to uni. What I'm talking about. I didn't go to uni. So I went to college and I studied media. I think it's just crazy how now everything's come back around in a circle, because I was very interested in media and now I'm very much in the media and I'm comfortable with being on camera. Everything that I do is media-based content. So everything does come back around in a circle, man.
Okay. So when you left college, did you go to uni or did you not pursue that?
Nah, I didn't go to uni, So I went to college, South Birmingham College in Birmingham City Centre. It was just very much videography. That was what I was interested in. There was also radio and stuff, but I was just really interested in video. I love the idea of creating content and making things. I could have an idea and create it. And then I remember when it was coming towards the end of college, I feel like when you go to college and stuff, I don't know what it's like now, but they almost, there's a pressure of you have to go to uni. Do you know what I mean? There's that pressure. And I remember speaking to my older sister, who I'm very much grateful for. She's 5 years older than me. So she was saying to me, Dave, if you don't know exactly what you want to do when you leave college, then I wouldn't recommend going to uni. Don't just, go to uni just for the sake of it. A lot of people nowadays probably go for the parties and just because it seems like the cool thing to do. You get your uni fund and all this and you get your money or whatever, but essentially you're kind of putting yourself in debt. So I took my sister's advice. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, and although I was interested in media and film and stuff, I thought even if I want to do that, I don't necessarily need to go to uni for that. I can gain experience and then eventually work my way up, which is what I actually ended up doing. So I just then started working and just going from there.
Okay, cool. So talk to me about your first job. Where was your first job and how did you find it?
My first job, JD Sports, crazy. Again, I'm so grateful for my sister because she worked at JD. So obviously she's 5 years older than me. So she worked there. She kind of managed to speak to the manager and she brought me through there. So literally straight away, as soon as I finished school, so the day after I finished school, actually, I was working in JD. So the day after prom, which was crazy. So, like when people say, like when you leave school, you enter the real world. Like I literally entered it straight after. And that was just fun, to be fair. Like it was a fun experience. Obviously, I was very young. I was only earning £3.64 an hour. So it's mad to think that now, and I don't think they're paying anybody that now, because if I would have been given £3.64 in my hand after working an hour, I would have been thinking, kind of taking the piss a little bit. But yeah, man, like I enjoyed working there. It was very fun. There was a lot of cool people there. I just enjoyed making my own money, like, being able to go to the bank after the week of working and I can see a couple £100 in my bank and that. And this is the first time I'm making money for myself. Again, big up my sister. She then also said to me, okay, now that you're making money, I feel like you need to start saving some money. So then I went to the bank. I says, can you just, every week, can you take away £20 or whatever? So every week, just put £20 and put it in my savings account. After, X amount of years working there, that then led up to me saving, I don't know, I think it was about £1,000, which is what then allowed me to buy my first car after I passed my test. So I feel like these are important skills. So if you are working, I feel like you need to set up a system where you're saving your money, because it's very easy to spend your money, especially nowadays. You got Jordan 1s and Jordan 4s and Jordan 1 and all these things and all this drip and that, and you want to spend, but you need to save so much. You get what I'm saying? So that's a major key. So yeah, man, JD was lit. But the £3.64 an hour, thinking back now, it's mad because man of times that by 1,000. It's crazy.
Okay, 2 questions.
Yeah.
First of all, you mentioned that you brought your first car. What was your first car?
Vauxhall Corsa 51 plate. You know what I'm saying? It was the people that if you're watching this, you must know what I'm going on it. If you don't, just Google it. Vauxhall Corsa 51 plate is like a little bubble thing. I bought it off Auto Trader. £700 it cost me. But the mad thing is the insurance. That's where, obviously, when you're a young, I think it was like 17 when I passed, so my insurance was like £3,000. My mum had to help me, like, obviously, towards the insurance and all that. But yeah, man, like, I was making my own money, so I was putting in the work, putting in the hours, and I was paying and getting around and doing stuff like that.
Cool. After JD, did you have another job, or did you go straight into entrepreneurship and take the leap?
Now after JD, I went to Land Rover. So I was working at JD from 16 to 19, so only 3 years. And then a few of my friends was working at Land Rover. I actually started off working there on an agency through somebody that I know. And then I applied to get like a job for DHL, which was more of a permanent job. And that was real cool. So I was working there for when I was 19 to when I was 23. And my experience at Land Rover I really enjoyed that. So I like all the jobs that I've done. Well, I've only done 2 jobs, JD and Land Rover, and I really enjoyed them. Like everyone that I was working with, everyone was cool. I'm an easygoing person, so I got on with everyone, and I was also able to implement what I was doing. So like I was also, creating my mixes, creating CDs, and I was selling my CDs in work and that. Like this is where the entrepreneurship part comes from. You get me? Like I was selling my CDs in work every other week. People are saying, "Yo, Dada, you got any new CDs?" I'm selling them and that 3 for a tenner. Like just shutting them off. You get me? Even different things. Like I remember, people would, they'll be in work all day, and I thought, okay, you're not really allowed to charge your phone in work, so maybe I should buy some portable chargers or some phone case chargers that you can put on your phone and it charges your phone so your battery don't die. I started selling them in work as well, so I started buying them for, I don't know, say £10, selling them for £20, so I'm making a profit on it. So yeah, like the work experience was great, man, and then it got to a point where there was a rumour saying that the shift was going to change. So I was on like afternoon shift, which was cool because I could DJ. In the evenings, I could do whatever I needed to do. I'd go to the gym. I was working from 1 till 9. And then the rumor came around, there's going to be a change in shift pattern. You're going to have to do nights, mornings and afternoons, which I weren't really trying to do, you get me? 'Cause I'm thinking, I don't want to be dictated or told what shift I have to do. And every week that's going to mash up my body clock and that, you get me? And jeopardize what I actually enjoy doing. So, so people was coming up to me saying, yo, what are you going to do? Like, if that happens, like, what are you going to do? I'm saying, I'll just wait in it, see what happens. So then the paper came around now. It was official. Yeah, man, the rotation ship's coming in 3 months, for example. So then I'm like, okay. I feel like, to me, that was like a sign from God in it to say, yo, like, you've been doing your thing, DJing and that. You've been building up your name, putting your mixes out. You've been flying to Ayia Napa, flying this place, Germany, going here, doing your events. My name was at a good place. So then I was like, okay, this is a sign from God now for me to take that leap, take that jump. So then I started working on personal development, which I wasn't really aware of. I didn't really know what it was, but my cousin introduced me to a book which was called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I started reading that book while I was in work, and that kind of opened my perspective even more. Like, it made me realize that I didn't want to work for money. Obviously, you have to work for money to an extent, but I didn't want to be in the rat race, as they say. I wanted money to work for me. I wanted to do something that I enjoyed doing. So yeah, that kind of just solidified the idea of me leaving. So then I bought like a notebook, started writing down. I took it back to school, basically. I was writing down, okay, when I leave my job, what can I do with my free time? Then I'm doing like a spider diagram. Like, yeah, I can do DJing, I can travel this place, I can do events, I can do podcasts, and then I started to plan deeper into them ideas. I feel like planning is very important. And just enjoying, I suppose, your own space, your own time, and working on yourself. I always say, like, focusing on yourself is the best thing that anyone can do. So yeah, that happened, and then I'm just going to tell a little bit of a story, you get me, because you're on a journey with me. So I remember I handed in my notice, before I handed in my notice, my supervisor said that the notice period was 4 weeks. So then I handed in my notice, and I timed it perfectly because I would have been leaving my job. And then the day after, I would have been going to Ayia Napa for like 2 weeks. So timed it, gave my notice on the Thursday. The following Thursday, the supervisor then gave me a letter saying, this is just a resignation letter. Here you go, like, just sign it or whatever, just to say that you're leaving. So then I've signed it, and I've looked at the letter now, and then the letter says, your last day is tomorrow. So I'm thinking, I've only handed in my notice last week, but they've said it's 4 weeks notice. So then I went up to the office, and then the manager saying to me, because you've been here for 4 years or X amount of years, you only need to give 1 week's notice. So what the supervisor told me about 4 weeks was actually incorrect. So then when he said that, I literally looked up in the sky and I thought, like, does that mean I'm leaving tomorrow? Like, something. It was mad because I can't even explain the feeling that I had. I was excited, but I was kind of nervous at the same time. But then I was excited. I felt ready though, because I was doing like a lot of planning. I was doing a lot of reading. My mindset was right. I was planning out what I'm going to do when I'm leaving. I felt ready. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have felt ready. I would have been shitting it. So yeah, literally next day, brought in the cakes and that. And then I remember walking out the buildings, looking up into the sky, and I was like, yo, I'm out here now, you get me? And then I've literally been self-employed now for 5 years. I left in 30th of June 2017. So I've been out here for 5 years, and I must be doing something right because I'm still alive. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the journey, man. That's what's going on.
Talk to me about your first day being self-employed. How did it feel walking out of Land Rover? And was you scared? Was you excited? Was you nervous? I'm guessing all three. But tell us a bit about that feeling.
Yeah, man. The first day being self-employed, excited. I remember driving up, I remember blasting out tunes, I had my windows down and like thinking, yo, I'm out here. I was just gassed. But then I think it was more so, after that, it was just trying to just keep a routine, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like routine is very important. When you're at work, say for example, when I was at Land Rover, I was starting work at 1, I had a break, I had 2 breaks, and then obviously finish work. Now, you kind of need to follow the same structure when you're self-employed. You need to give yourself a routine. So you need to know that you're waking up at this time, you're going to gym at this time, you're working between these hours, you're chilling out these hours, you're going to bed, etc. That's where it got a little bit difficult. So I kind of had a routine for a while, and then naturally, because I didn't need to wake up in it, I could be in my bed all day. But yeah, it got a bit difficult, but it's just about the discipline. You have to kind of build discipline for yourself and create that routine. But yeah, I would say like becoming self-employed, it was definitely one of the best things I've done, 100%, because it gave me so much more time to work on other things that, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do if I was working full time. And it's definitely kind of catapulted like my growth and my brand. And yeah, it's just great for me to be able to kind of talk about it, because I know it's something that a lot of people aspire to do. A lot of people want to be in a position to leave their job. So I'm grateful that it's happened. And I feel like it's just a matter of just like, if you are working a full-time job, like make sure that when you go home, you're setting hours to yourself where you're working on whatever it is that you want to do. So even if you don't know what you want to do, then that's where you get the pen and paper out. That's when you start thinking, okay, what am I kind of naturally good at, or what do I enjoy, or what would I like to do, what would I like to learn? You just get the pen and paper out. You just spend time with yourself, and then once you kind of figure out what it is you want to do, then you start putting time into that. Like, as I said, when I was working from 1 till 9 doing the afternoon shift, I'd go to the gym, get home for about 10:30, 11, and then I'd work from 11 till 3. So then 4 hours I'd be working on anything DJ related, creating mixes, whatever. I'd get 4 hours. I used to go to sleep at 3 a.m. I used to wake up at 11 a.m. So I was still getting my 8 hours sleep, but I wasn't going home and watching Netflix and playing PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. Like, man was going home and working, but I enjoyed it though. I actually genuinely enjoyed the process of, like, you know, working on myself. So I think that's important. And then, you know, over time, if you're putting in that percentage, as I say, if you put in 1% every day, and after 365 days, that's 365% growth in it. So like, just put in small work on yourself, even if it's an hour every day, and then you're gonna see the growth. You get me?
That's wise words. Okay, so I'm guessing you use social media to build your brand. Talk to me about building on social media, the struggles and the success of it.
Social media. So yeah, man, I think obviously it can be difficult for depending on who you are. Like, you know, I'm quite grateful I've grew up in like the era that I've grew up in. I'm a 90s baby. I'm 1994. So I grew up in the era of having like no social media. Like, we used to have the Nokia 3310s, then we had the Walkman phones and all of this type of stuff. And then I've kind of grew into the social media era. Whereas I feel like somebody who's of the older generation, it might be difficult for them to grasp onto socials. But I think essentially, you know, again, it just comes down to the planning. So you're going to write down and figure out what it is that you want to get into. Then you may want to look at some other profiles, some other accounts who do a similar thing to you. Like, look at a few of them. And then what you can kind of do is, you know, try and pick different things from each people's accounts and then try and make it your own, if you get what I'm saying. The struggles that I've personally went through with socials, at a time, I was creating content. I was creating videos that was more of like a personality type videos, because I know that I have a good personality. People are very drawn to a personality. I'm very charismatic. Like, people just like my energy and my vibe, and that. I'm very aware of that. So I was making videos based on that, and it was more like, I wouldn't say it was comedy videos, because I'm not like a comedy guy. You get me? But it was more just videos that people can relate to. Like, you know, for example, I was making videos like, if you go into a yard man shop in it, and I say, we don't have that. Like, people know about that. You get what I'm saying? So I was making them videos, and people was commenting on them and liking it and sharing it. So I'm seeing all these comments and these likes, and I'm thinking, rah, like, people are messing with this kind of content. So then I started making more of them like personality videos. But then I feel like I got into a bit of like I can't really explain it. It's like a bit of a trance, I suppose. Like, I got into the thing where I'm thinking, okay, I need to post a video 5 times a week. You know, like, you get into like what's the name? Like the metrics of like the numbers and that. So I'm too busy looking at the numbers and the comments, and I'm getting all gassed and getting myself psyched up. Like, yeah, I need to post 5 times a week, and then I'm kind of forcing it now. You know what I mean? And to the point where my page now is kind of looking, not now, but obviously at the time, my page was looking more like a comedy page, like a banter page or something like that. But I was getting my money through DJing and through events. So at that period of time, I was getting bookings here and there, but it wasn't as much as normal. So I'm thinking, yo, why are the bookings ain't coming through? Because I'm popping, like my shit's going off, like everyone's sharing and commenting and liking my stuff, but the bookings ain't coming through. And then it kind of lit me to say like, yo, like, okay, I can have, a good personality and I can show that, but I don't want to, especially with Instagram, I don't want to show or make it look like I'm not, say, a DJ or, a creative or whatever, because that's where my money is coming in from. So I think the struggle for me was just trying to balance something that I feel like I'm gifted with, having a good personality, with kind of like not getting stuck in the cycle of like this, the socials and stuff. So yeah, that's just a bit of the story behind that. So then I kind of had to archive most of the things that I was posting and restart with the socials. I was posting my DJ stuff, my event stuff, and keeping it to the basics. As for like successes that I've had, yeah, man, yo, I'd say from the jump, from like 2011, that's when I posted my first mix on YouTube. It was a bashment mix. My parents are from Jamaica. My family's from Jamaica. I very much grew around dancehall music. Like, that's why if you hear me DJ, like, there's a lot of dancehall. Like, I'm a yardie, you know what I'm saying? I like ski yardie, So yeah, I posted up the mix. And it started going off. Like, I was getting like thousands of views, tens of thousands. And obviously, bear in mind, this is in 2011. So this is big numbers. To the point where the mix got like millions of views on there. And then now, Mixcloud, obviously that's doing really well. I think I've got about 50 or 60,000 followers on there. I get a lot of views, plays on there. YouTube, I've uploaded back onto YouTube now because at first there was deleting my mixes because of copyright. Now I've uploaded them back. Got millions of plays on there. Like, I think like my mixes, I got like 17 million plays in total. My Instagram's doing really well. Got like 30k on there. That's just, being consistent with posting over X amount of years. TikTok, obviously, that's another thing. TikTok's just the mad, craziest platform. And I started that during lockdown. We didn't really have much to do in it. So I just started making DJ videos and people was enjoying them. So then got like, 250,000 followers on there. So it's all going well, man. Can't complain.
That's good. So I've been told that you are now passing your skills on. Mm-hmm. And you have started an online course teaching people to DJ.
That's correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, man. So the online course, it's crazy, because I had the idea quite a while ago. I'd probably say 2019, the end of 2019, start of 2020. At first, when I first had the idea, again, I feel like God gives me ideas. I'm such a creative person, but I can only give it to God. I feel like sometimes the ideas are out of my capacity to even think of, you know what I'm saying? And it come to me, and then at the time I was thinking, do I really want to teach people how to DJ though? Because then there's going to be more people in the scene, and them ones. I had a bit of a scarcity mindset as opposed to an abundance mindset, thinking that like, everyone can win, there's enough space for everyone, that type of thing. And then that was like, say, 2019, and then 2020 came, lockdown, and then that's when I really thought, okay, I need to create this online course, especially now because everybody's in their house, and it makes sense. My mindset kind of changed. I thought, I want to help people. There's a lot of people that message me saying I want to learn how to DJ, rather than doing the one-to-one approach, because that's quite time consuming, and I'm all about trying to create, passive income as well as help people. Like, if I can help masses amount of people at once, then obviously I'm going to do that, then do the one-to-ones. I started working on it. I was scripting it, so I literally wrote I was trying to write it word for word. I wrote like 24,000 words and it wasn't even finished. So I wrote like double a dissertation basically. And that was stressful in itself, trying to write it word for word what I'm going to say in the course. I bought one of these things that a lot of like news presenters use. I think it's called I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a little thing that you put over your camera and you can read off it basically. So I bought one of those. And I tried to record the course, but it kind of it didn't really work because, again, I was reading and I was messing up, It wasn't very authentic. So then I felt a bit deflated with that. I thought, I don't know if I can be arsed, it's just a bit long, so then I didn't do it for ages, literally, and then 2022, so 2 years down the line, and then said, nah, I need to get back in it. I've wrote 24,000 words. I need to get back into it, whether I just do it through bullet points or just try. Naturally, when you do something and you try something new, you're going to have trial and tribulations. You're going to try things and it won't work. So then I found a different way to do it. I just literally done it through bullet points. Again, I was having loads of people messaging me. So again, I felt like I was getting signs to actually create it. And yeah, like it's something great, man. Like I've made it now. It's complete. There's 22 videos, 14 modules. It goes through everything. Like perfect for a beginner. From what equipment you need, where to get your music, what software you need, all about the software, about your DJ decks, how to mix, how to transition, different mixing techniques, how to brand yourself, how to get bookings, how to grow your following. Like it's got a lot of different things in there that's going to be perfect for a beginner DJ. And yeah, one of the things as well that really made me think, okay, I need to complete this now. Like I was already en route to completing it, but one of the things that kind of pushed me over the edge to completing it, there was a guy that that used to work in Land Rover, and he used to message me like on Instagram and stuff. He used to message me saying, "Oh, like I'm trying to learn how to DJ and stuff." And I used to message him back and give him some advice. I said, "Yeah, man, like buy this software or buy these DJ decks and watch these videos and things like that." I used to try and give him advice. He really enjoyed music. And he used to say that I used to help him quite a lot, like, because, he was going through quite a tough time and stuff. And, he used to message me here and there. And then, like, it's mad because I not long ago, he basically committed suicide. So then I was like, raw, like, that kind of just clicked to me. And because I know that when he was messaging me and I was talking to him, he was saying that, music really helps him and stuff and helps him to get in a better mindset. Because that's what music does. Music has that vibration in it to make you feel better, and that's what was happening with him. And just the fact that obviously he committed suicide, that one kind of really hit me because it kind of made me think like, yo, if the course was out before, like then I might have been able to help him, you get me, like, because he was messaging me about the DJing. So I weren't like kicking myself down about it because obviously the course was ready when it was ready, but that's what made me kind of think, okay, I need to complete this course because there might be other people that are in a similar position as he was in, and he's in a dark place, and he might need something like that. Like he might need to learn a new hobby, and as I said, DJing and music is something that is powerful. So yeah, that was just a mad one. So yeah, man, rest in peace, Mercs. You know what I'm saying?
Rest in peace. So for anyone that wants to learn how to DJ, we have attached DJ Day Day's course link in our bio, so you can contact Day Day. You can click that link and you can get going.
Mm-hmm.
So. Another question. Yeah. What motivates you every morning when you wake up?
Boy, sir, what motivates me? I think it's more so the things that I don't want, which sounds crazy, but the things that I don't want to be, I don't want to be 60, 65, 70, and I still have to work my ass off. I still have to be grafting and that. Like, like when I mentioned about when I was in Land Rover and I was reading the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, nothing against obviously people that work or anything else, but while I was in there and I'm looking around and I'm saying, okay, I can see a lot of guys in there, and there's a lot of older guys in here as well, that are grafting, and like them kind of ages, I want to be relaxing in it. Like I want to be chilling. I don't really want to be grafting or having to feel like I have to work because if I retire, I ain't got enough money to stay alive pretty much. So I think it's more so the things that I don't want. I don't want to be working them ages. I don't want my future family and my kids to, not like almost suffer in a sense or not kind of feel like they're being given the best life. I want them to, have a good life, grow up and teach them everything I need to teach them. What else would I say? What motivates me? Yeah, just I think because I've achieved so much over the years and I know there's more to come, I think it's just very exciting. I'm a very optimistic person, and I know like what's coming, and I'm very excited for what's to come, you get me? So it's just, as I said, just doing small things every day, working towards them every day, and naturally they're going to get closer. So that's another thing. What else? I would say, yeah, just being able to provide for my family as well. Like my family now, with my future family, like, you know, help out where I need to help out. I don't come from like the richest of backgrounds where like my parents are mad up or anything. Like, we very much come from a middle class background, you get me? Like, we make ends meet, you know, them ones. Like, I remember back in the day, my mum like used to work like 2 jobs and that just to make sure me and like my sister are good, you get what I'm saying? So things like that, it's like, especially in the position that I'm in now, motivates me to, I'm already doing great things, so it motivates me to keep going because it's only going to get better, it's only going to get greater. Yeah, I think that's the main thing still.
You're talking a lot about a future family, but we'll keep that quiet.
Yeah,
So,
man.
speaking of children, what advice would you have for the younger generation now?
What advice? I'd say the best thing you can do is focus on yourself. I think that's major key. Like, I feel like we're in a generation now where, you know, there's a lot of things going on, social media, you know, trying to keep up with the Joneses, as they say. And I think, you know, try not to get drawn into all of that. Try not to, you know, feel like you need to have drip. You need to have this designer clothes. You need to have this car. You need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get drawn into trying to keep up with the Joneses. Just keep it real to yourself. If you can only afford that, then just get that. Don't broke your pocket to go and get that Gucci thing because you don't need to. Just because everyone else has got it, you don't need to get it. And you know one thing with me, yeah, I'll be completely honest, you know, especially when it comes with clothes and that. I'm not really like the clothes guy, you get me? If anything, I need a stylist. But like, I believe, yeah, that your value shouldn't be determined by like what you wear or like what you drive or anything like that. It shouldn't be determined by like materialistic things, you get me? Like, I will very much go to Primark and go buy my whole outfit, like, but that doesn't determine my value though, because like, people know how much I'm worth in it. If I'm getting a DJ booking, I'm gonna be this much. No matter if I roll there in a whole Primark outfit, you get what I'm saying? So I think that's what needs to be understood. Don't think that your value is determined by your material stuff. And then another thing I'd say is probably just focus on yourself, and if there's anything that you want to do, put that time into yourself and just keep going, man. Don't stop, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's get
That's
it.
the motto of the day. Don't stop.
Don't stop, man. Let's get it. Let's
Okay,
go.
leave us with one quote.
One quote. I've said the quote already, you know, but I'm gonna say it again. I'll leave you with 2 quotes. So first one is the 1% every day. 1% every day after 365 days. That's 365% growth after a year. I really like that quote because when you really think about it, what is 1% every day? It's not much. Like, again, if you look at your time of your day, if you're working 8 hours, you might have an hour. Well, you probably got like 4 or 5 hours free. Just spend 1 hour of that time, then, and it just focusing on whatever you're gonna do. Then you can spend your 4 hours watching Netflix or whatever. So that 1% every day after 365 days is 365% growth. And the next quote is gonna be taken from Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace, Nipsey. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're often trying to achieve something, you have to try and remember, like, you're not gonna achieve it straight away. I get people messaging me quite often saying, yo, Dede, how do I get to where you're at? And I'm saying, bro, like, you do know I've been doing this for like 11 years, isn't it? Like, it's been 11 years, bro. Like, it's not a quick thing, you get what I'm saying? So it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Just be in it for the long game. Just in whatever it is that you want to do, just try and enjoy it. Have fun with it. See it as a hobby. Try not to... I think that's the thing, because with social media, it kind of makes things look like the person got there very easily or very quickly. Let's say Central C, for example. He looks like he just blew out of nowhere. Like, he just all of a sudden worldwide. But I'm sure he said it at some point that before he actually blew, he put 10 years in the game. He's been doing this for 10 years. Like, so it just goes to show, and it kind of looked like somebody blew up out of nowhere, but that's not the case. So it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Take your time, enjoy it, and your time will come as long as you be consistent.
Brilliant. Well, I know you're a busy man. Thank you for your time today.
So good, my
You've
guy.
been watching Insight with the Podcast Club, and that was DJ Dede.
Jeez, come on.